Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It's episode 69 and today we have got a ton of really awesome plans. I'm so excited for today's episode because it involves using villagers, it involves creating fully automated farms, and it involves working in the industrial district, which you guys know is something that I personally really quite like. But before we do anything like that, in the previous episode we did a little bit of enchanting. We managed to get ourselves a Punch 2 Infinity and Mending book, which is going to be going on this bow right here. We managed to get Feather Falling 4, Frostwalker 2 and Mending to put on the boots, and we also got Respiration 3, Aqua Affinity, Mending and Blast Protection 4 to put on this helmet right here. But sadly, my levels aren't particularly high. So the first thing that we've got to do is pop on over to the Ender. So here we are in the familiar location, slightly purple, slightly yellow, of course, that is the Ender, and I've just had a thought. Throughout my entire time on the Hermitcraft server, I have never built one of these things. I have never built an Ender, in fact, in my entire time playing Minecraft. So I think Hermitcraft Series 5, whenever that may arrive, I think that might be my project. That's definitely something that I want to work on, because these things are amazing, everyone on the server uses them, and they just get you so much XP so very quickly. But anyway, we have got 16 levels so far. I think that should, in theory, be enough to maybe do my boots. Was it my boots that are that low? Yes, 17 levels. There we go. We finally have Feather Falling 4. Throughout this entire time on the server, I'm yet to actually have this. So this is going to come in handy, especially because my base is way up in the sky. So there we go. I am now looking super awesome. We've got Respiration 3, Aqua Affinity, Mending, Blast Protection. We've got Mending. We've got Protection 3, Unbreaking 3, Mending. We've got Feather Falling 4, Frostwalker 2, and Mending. And I need to take a breather because I said all of those things way too quickly. But anyway, we're now going to pop on through into this end portal right here and hopefully pop back up at my base area. I have a feeling I've slept in my bed, maybe in the RV, but no. Okay, so we are in the industrial district. That is absolutely perfect because this is where we're going to be starting our latest project. As you guys know, recently we've been doing some stuff with the villagers. We've now sorted out the villager breeder. That was very important to me because the next project is actually going to be involving villagers. We have got the fully automatic carrot and potato farms over here, but you can also build a fully automatic wheat farm. It's a tiny bit different. It involves minecarts and it's a slightly different design, so I decided to not put it in this area. But what we're going to do is build another area to this place over in this section over here. Now, I don't actually know the exact dimensions of this farm. I don't know how big it's going to be, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of research here, but it should hopefully fit inside this little space. Completely forget everything that I said at the end of the previous clip because we are not going to be building the farm in this section. Instead, we are going to be building it over here. So as you can see, I've cleared out an 18 by 23 template for this thing. This is going to be the area that we're going to be clearing out because, of course, just like everything else in the industrial district, we're going to be building this thing underground. And in case you're wondering why I've decided to build it over here, number one, plenty of water over there. Water is a massive pain in the backside. Can't be bothered to clear it out. This seemed like a better option. But more importantly, number two, this farm needs to be a certain number of blocks away from the village, and our village is just over the back of this hill, just over the back there, and I feel like it would just about be in range, because that is literally on the edge. That is just about out of range. If we build one over here, it's in line with it. I have a feeling it would just about touch it. So instead, we're going to be building it in this section to hopefully clear out that range, and hopefully not have the whole farm break, because if that happens, then, well, I'll be very upset indeed. So now all I have to do is move our beacon over into this area, and then start work on clearing this space out. Welcome back to another super fast time-lapse. In this one, I'm actually going to try putting music underneath my voice in the hope of it sounding just a tiny bit cooler. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. The music is probably going to be by Lakey Inspired, who was a fantastic artist, and you should definitely check them out. Speaking of things that you should check out, while I was actually digging this hole, I was listening to the new Red Hot Chili Peppers album, which I think is really quite good, so you should check that out as well. Guys, I've got some bad news. Food has just decided to stop working, and that's really embarrassing because it's just started working again. We had some major lag on the server right then. No clue what's happened, but even my frame rate has dropped to like 30. And that never happens on this PC. What on earth is this skull doing? But aside from the craziness that is occurring on the Hermitcraft server right now, this is the hole that we have to work with. This is where we are going to be placing our fully automatic wheat farm. Obviously, this mining project wasn't as big as some of my more recent ones, like that. And like that, that was pretty huge. And the storage trench obviously going right the way down into the floor. That was a pretty massive project as well. But still, it looks good, and it is plenty of space to work with. In fact, I think we've gone overboard. It's 18 by 23 by 10, and the farm is only something like 19 by 19 by 5. So we should have plenty of space in this place, which will A, look really good, and B, be very easy to work with. At least that's the plan. So now we've got to gather up a bunch of resources. I've got to grab my minecart supplies. I've got to grab lots and lots of dirt, and a little bit of redstone as well in theory this should be a plain and simple project, but then again, when is it ever plain and simple when I'm involved? Pretty much never. Before all of you take the mick out of me down in the comment section, yes, I am aware that I said nether instead of never in the previous clip. Sometimes my mind just jumbles up words, but speaking of nether, by the look of things, Exhumovoid has started work on our nether hub. I mean, I hope it gets better from this point. I'm just kidding, it's going well. Sort of. But anyway, I would say that's enough messing around. I think it's about time that we did some proper work on the Hermitcraft server. So I've got to create an 18 by 18 platform for all of our minecart rails that we're going to be making. Now the first thing that I will just mention is yes, I was a total spoon. Didn't quite clear out enough space right here. So this is the area that we've got to work with. I'm quickly going to show it to you before it gets completely infested with mobs, because of course it is getting dark now. But this is going to be our space. Now, on top of this, we're going to have a bunch of minecarts. That's where our minecart hopper is going to be traveling around, picking up all of the wheat that is dropped by the villagers. I'll be doing some explanation of that a little bit later on. But there is a very specific order of how we need to place in these minecart rails, because otherwise, it's not actually going to work. Obviously, our minecart isn't going to be able to pick up all the wheat, and that would be very bad indeed. So now, I'm going to have to follow the tutorial, and I feel like it's a good time to mention that the tutorial is by Crew Productions. I'll put a link to it down in the description. So far, so good. Suggest checking it out. Can I just say that I'm an awful person? In the previous episode of Hermitcraft, we spent ages clearing up these chests, and already they are filling up with junk again. I don't know what goes on in my head, and I don't know what problems I have, but when I see chests in Minecraft, I just throw junk in them. That's just how I do things, apparently. And there we go. All of our minecart rails are in place, and now we're going to take a look at this thing from above, and I have a feeling it is going to look like a work of art. Okay, that's how I feel about this, because that was like the most crazy, wiggly minecart line I've ever seen. Wow, that looks amazing, doesn't it? Oh, that looks so cool. So, our minecart is going to go in here, it's then going to go all the way around the outside, it's going to come in a little bit, it's going to go back around there. Wow, this is making my eyes go funny. It's going to go back around there. Then it's going to cut in again, and then it's going to sort of squiggle around in this little area here, and then it's going to come back out like this and go back into the offloading and onloading area, I guess. So that's where it's going to be dropping off all of the wheat, which this thing just looks awesome, to be honest with you. Even if it wasn't a farm, I would consider just leaving this out there because I think it looks great. But sadly, we are going to be covering this thing up with dirt. Dirt of all blocks. For the final powering, I need to go 1, 2 across like that. And that should have lit that one up as well. So, in theory, all of these powered rails should be on it, and you have no idea how difficult that is to do. It's very hard to remember where the powered rail is when you can't see the powered rails, but all of these seem to be lit up. Yeah. Everything is well lit. We managed to do it. Awesome. Okay, now we have to do the tester. I've got myself one hopper minecart right here, and we're about to find out if this thing goes all the way around. Okay, are you ready? This is a moment of truth. Have I placed in enough powered rails? Here goes. Off it travels. It's looking good. It's going to go right the way around there, and it's going to make its way back around, then start snaking about. I mean, this is going to be quite a long process, but you know what? I'm going to take you through the entire thing because it could get very exciting at some point. I highly doubt it. I mean, this is like watching paint dry, isn't it? I'm getting bored just thinking about this. Yeah, let's do a cut. And here it goes. It's going around the end bit. And there it is. Okay, well that was successful. It worked absolutely perfectly first time, which is always good for me. I absolutely love it when that happens because it happens so very rarely. So now finally it is time to start chucking in all of the dirt for this thing. Obviously that is where all of our wheat is going to be planted. This is just the pickup mechanism, but I would say that's like maybe 50% of the farm done. Yeah, we're making pretty good progress today. I really, really need to move my items from the RV. I seriously need to do it at some point. It's so painful just doing this for hours on end looking for the items that I need. Where is a hopper? Why can I not find my hoppers? They're nowhere. They're absolutely nowhere. For the past half an hour, I've consistently been a total spoon. And forgotten items, I've been back and forth to the RV 4 times in the past half an hour, and just everything is going wrong. So I think I'm going to have a lunch break. It's always a good idea. When you're struggling, just eat copious quantities of food and hope that it gets better. Finally, all of the redstone is now in place, our minecart line is fully fixed up, we've got the dropping off mechanism, which although this is extremely simple, this took me ages due to the fact that I was very bad at remembering which items I needed. I don't know what's going on at the minute. But now all we have to do is we've got to till all of this soil, we've got to surround this thing in blocks to stop our villager from running off, then we actually have to get our villager into the system. Oh, one thing that I have just thought. Okay, we might have to change up the order in which we're doing things, because of course if we get the villager into the system now, or at least when we have the blocks surrounding it, we still have this massive gaping hole up at the top. Now that's fine with most farms, but a villager tends to attract quite a bit of attention from zombies. Zombies would just sort of walk in, destroy our villager and then leave. That would basically be the turn of events there. So I think what we're going to have to do instead, we'll have to till all the soil, chuck in the blocks, chuck in the glass roof, and then get our villager and chuck him into the system. I wasn't planning on doing that today, but I suppose that works as well. Can I just say that Frostwalker is terrible if you're trying to make a farm like this one? I mean, the number of times I've walked past this thing and gone, why on earth are all of these dirt blocks appearing? Like, I'm fairly certain I've tilled these. It's because I'm walking past and it's turning into ice, and then suddenly all of this turns into dirt. It's so frustrating. I've been doing this for like the past 5 minutes, just not understanding what's going on. Replace 5 minutes with around about 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds at the most. I know I'm a spoon, but I'm not that much of a spoon. The super smelter is now doing its thing, and as you can see, it is working wonderfully. We have got glass flowing out this thing about as quickly as I expected. It's about 1 glass every second, which is awesome. With my previous system, we'd have to be here for about an hour waiting for all this to smelt, but we should be done relatively quickly here. Just the final few bits of glass to do now. We've got 1 more row left, and that will be everything completed, and then we can start cracking on with transporting our villager from this area over here into this area over here. And the only thing that I will say is that it's not that simple, unfortunately. This requires a very specific type of villager. It needs to be a brown coat villager, so one of the farmers, the Fletchers, or the other ones that I always forget. And it also has to have a completely empty inventory so that we can fill it up with seeds. Now, the reason that we have to have it filled with seeds is so that it can't actually pick up the wheat, because if it can pick up the wheat, then it will turn it into bread, and that's what it will keep inside its inventory. So it needs to be a full inventory, full of seeds, so that when it breaks the wheat, it will just stay on the floor, and then our minecart can pick it up from down underneath. Now that could be difficult, to be honest with you, because I have no clue which villages in my system have empty inventories. I mean, there's no way of being able to tell. You can't click on a villager and see what he's got inside his inventory. You just sort of have to play it by ear. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look in this section over here, this little space, because in theory all of those are like ex-baby villagers that should have just gone straight into the system. So maybe that guy right there, I'll pull him out, and then we can throw seeds into his inventory, and if 8 stacks of seeds go in, then he hasn't got anything else in there. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense as a technique. Yeah, let's give it a go. We got ourselves a brown coat villager. I spent ages trying to find the seeds for this because I don't have any form of seed farm or anything. And he's actually got items in his inventory. He's got items. I could actually cry right now. I could genuinely cry. I don't know what to do here. Like, what do I do? What do I do, guys? And why are there villagers everywhere? What's been going on? Oh, that's so frustrating. How am I meant to get a villager with an empty inventory? I don't understand how I'm meant to do it. Because the way that they breed is using farms. Okay, so they farm to breed. Now, I've got a potato farm up there. That means that as soon as that guy spawns, as soon as any brown coat spawns, he basically starts breeding using the potatoes, which means that he already gets 1 slot taken up his inventory. Oh, that's so frustrating. So frustrating. I'm genuinely upset right now. Let's just check that I'm not imagining things. If we throw this guy a potato, does he pick it up? Yes, of course he picks it up. That means he's got potatoes in the first slot of his inventory, and that means that as soon as he gets inside that farm, all he's going to be doing is planting potatoes. I'm actually really upset right now. Seriously upset. I don't know what to do. So, my brand new technique is to just stand in this area right here and wait. I'm going to wait for a baby villager to appear that has got a brown coat, and I'm going to push him straight off the edge and hope that he doesn't pick up any items in that process. I don't know if that's going to work. Okay, I genuinely don't know if that's going to work. But that's my only option at this point in time, because I can't think of anything better. Don't you just love Minecraft? Like, Minecraft as a game is such a fantastic experience. Especially this. One of my favourite things to do. Pile driving a dirt block endlessly. There is just no way of me getting out of this, I promise you. New plan. I have spent ages trampling all of the farmland. That was the final block. So now our villager breeder looks a little bit like this, which is pretty frustrating, as I spent ages fixing this up in the previous episode of Hermitcraft. But hopefully now, whenever a new brown coat spawns, it won't have any potatoes. That's the idea. If it does, I'm going to cry myself to sleep. There is a chance that this episode could completely fail, and I apologise for that. 1 hour later, still no sign of a brown coat. You know, they say in show business, never work with animals and children. I think that's the saying. I think when it comes to Minecraft Let's Plays, the saying should be never work with villagers. It's awful. It's a hateful experience. I hate them. Seriously hate them. Ah, just breed. I've given you so many potatoes. What more could you want? A full belly of potatoes. You should be good to go now. Ah, frustration is high. So, after around about 2 hours of the previous method, we're now going back to the original method because I'm a bit of a broken man, okay? I'm a bit of a broken man and I don't want to be staring at villagers breeding for any longer. It's as simple as that. Oh, it's just been a painful, hateful experience. But here we have a brown coat villager. Let's see. 1 stack. We've got the 2nd stack. We've got the 3rd stack. And by the look of things, he's picking up all of these. That's a good sign. That is a good sign. Okay, here comes the moment of truth. The final few stacks. These are the important ones. And already it's not looking so good. Has he got all of them? Oh! He's there! Oh my word! Guys! We did it! We've got one! We've got one! Get away from that rail right now, because if he goes on that and just goes straight into the lava, I would quit. I would quit YouTube. This is the one! He's the man! Oh, I'm so happy right now. I'm a bit upset that I wasted 2 hours doing a method that didn't actually work, and then the original method I came up with worked 2nd time. We probably should have given it a few more attempts than just 1. But this guy, oh, you're my fave. You are my favourite. I'm gonna take a selfie with this dude. Here comes the proper moment of truth. We're about to find out if this guy is properly legitimate. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is just throw a few more stacks of seeds at him and make sure that he doesn't actually pick those up, which he hasn't. Okay, that's a good sign. Now I'm going to do something which may seem strange, okay, but we need to make sure that his inventory is actually filled with seeds. So here goes. If he picks these up, then that means he's got potatoes in his inventory. I just double fist bumped into the air. He's our man. Right, let's transport him over to the wheat farm, and fingers crossed he doesn't die. The sun is on his way down, but I really want to get this guy out of here, so there goes. And off he goes. Right, okay, he is now on the way. He is travelling over to the wheat farm. And hopefully he makes it in one piece. I mean, he's got some good pace right now. He really is on the way. He's not waiting around here. Let's just quickly check for any zombies down there. I suppose it's too late. He's just entered. Oh my word, what's just happened? No! No way! Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad. I mean, what do I do, guys? My villager. I can't help but laugh because this is painful to watch. Oh no, I'm stuck in the block. I'm stuck in a block. Everything that could possibly go wrong right now is going wrong, and it's getting dark, and this place isn't lit up. I'm genuinely nervous for our dude. Genuinely nervous for our dude. Right, okay, let's cover up any of these exits and entrances. I mean, to be honest with you, most of the mistakes in these Hermitcraft episodes, right, they're usually like spoon moments, me being a total idiot. But that, did you see that coming? He went through the floor and is now on the minecart rail. How do I even fix this? How do I even fix this? To a certain extent, recent events have been quite funny. Okay, so obviously our villager going through the floor, that was really funny. He went through the floor, he landed on the minecart rails. That was hilarious. But that's a pretty massive bug. I managed to get him back into the farm right here, but then he landed on that block over there, and he decided to sort of jump. He decided to jump off this block and land on that block, and he fell through the floor. He fell through the floor, and now he's back on the floor once again. And then I tried to get him back inside. The minecart rails decided to do this, and he glitched inside the block, then fell back onto the floor. So, I just want to say, my Minecraft experience today has not been my favourite. And I'm also starting to think that there's a chance this farm isn't going to work, because he seems to be very interested in this wall over here, which means it might be a little bit too close to our villager breeder. These are all fantastic things. Can you tell from my voice, I'm a tiny bit frustrated. Oh, it's not been a good day for me. Here goes, we're about to release him into the farm. Let's see what happens right here. Can we actually break his minecart? By the look of things, we can't. There he is. Okay, he should be safe and secure in there. Now, are you going to start planting things? No. No, you're not. You're going to walk towards the villager breeder. Oh, he planted something. Is it working properly? Was that just where he decided to start? I mean, this is a bit of a strange shape that he's going for here. Maybe we should leave him to it and see what he manages to do. My only observation is he seems to be planting them in a very, very strange and inefficient order. Now, I'm fairly certain I didn't observe this when I built my potato and carrot farms. I'm fairly certain they just went in like complete strips. I don't know if that's the case. I do feel like he keeps going back towards this corner though. Let's see if he does it again. He's going to go over to that one. He's going to plant that one. Then there's one over here that he's missed. Yeah, there's one in this corner that he's missed. He just sort of stands there for a little while, not doing anything. Maybe imagining the lovely times that he had in the villager breeder. And look, there he is. He's going over to it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that seems a little bit broken to me. So there is a chance that we may have to move our villager breeder, which isn't a big deal because, of course, we broke it anyway during today's episode. So we might have to do that at some point. Because there's still this spot, man. Like, yeah, this place right here. The first one that you should have planted. We'll wait and see if he actually harvests the wheat quickly. Just a bit of a side note. Wheat takes ages to grow. I've been looking at this for ages. Just waiting. I just want to see the first bit grow to see how he reacts to it and if he reacts to it quickly. It's taking an age though. Two things. Number one, he just harvested some wheat and I feel like he might have picked it up, which is really worrying. And number two is there is some wheat right next to him and he doesn't seem to be doing anything about it. So I don't know what's going on with this farm. I feel like it might be a little bit too close to the villager breeder. There is also a chance that he has wheat in his inventory somehow, because that doesn't seem to be functional either. All in all, today's episode has been a little bit of a mess. We can't tell if the farm is working. We genuinely can't tell if the farm is working. The villager has just caused me so much stress. Bugs have caused me a lot of stress. And this guy, he just doesn't seem to be working particularly hard, does he? But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. You will find out in the next episode if this thing is fully functional. If you enjoyed this, please sure to hit that like button. If you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. I realised after recording this video that I filled up that guy's inventory for him to go into the farmland and plant all of his seeds, which means that he then had open slots in his inventory, which means he can now pick up wheat. Which is a bit rubbish, if you're asking me.